Thorkell is a great guy. He loves to drink, adores children, and is an overall nice guy, but also a bloodthirsty killing machine. Because Thorkell comes across as a dumb brute, many people claim he's a badly written character, but this is far from the truth in my opinion, and I will explain why Thorkell's character was exactly what Vinland Saga needed for its story. Vinland Saga can be quite depressing and bleak at times with all the horrible things that happen. The tragic death of Thor's, Thorfinn's loss of innocence and transformation into a killer, and the slaughter of the village. In contrast to all that bleakness, Thorkell's enthusiasm and goofiness is a breath of fresh air. Thorkell brings a lot of humor and lightheartedness to a show that would otherwise be extremely dark. If Thorkell wouldn't have been in Vinland Saga, I'd argue that it would have been too dark and depressing to provide an enjoyable experience to the viewer and would have turned off a significant proportion of the audience. With Thorkell, the overall tone of the show is more varied and balanced, which makes for a more enjoyable experience in my opinion. The second fight between Thorkell and Thorfinn is great, but what I liked even more than the fight itself was the way Thorkell revealed Thor's backstory. We not only learn more about Thor, but also more about Thorkell by the way he views Thor. And the scene I'm going to show you now poses the following question: is Thorkell really the mindless and stupid brute everyone assumes him to be?
それから15年経って、今度こそトールズが死んだと知った。奴のことを15年間考えて、肉体の生き死には問題じゃねえと気がついた。戦士に大切なのは魂、そのありかだ。奴の魂は遠くへ行った。俺にはまだわからない。俺にはまだ届かない。ここではないどこかへ。
His battle-hungry personality aside, Thorkell is slightly doubtful of the path he had chosen in life and constantly wonders the meaning of a true warrior. He claimed to not understand the last words Thor's uttered to him, as well as Thor's strange gaze that, as Thorkell described, is looking at the place far away. He often wonders if perhaps he should have followed Thor's and left the Drum's Vikings that day to find out what it means to be a true warrior, and he eagerly waits for Thorfinn, who lived with Thor's after he left the Drum's Vikings, to tell him the answer. He was actually disappointed when Thorfinn was unable to answer and claimed that he wasted his time that he spent with Thor's. This slightly doubtful or reflective stance is not something we expected from a bloodthirsty Viking who relishes in violence. It shows that the characters in Vinland Saga are not just there to fulfill roles, they are real people. There's yet another scene in the story that hints at Thorkell's underlying complexity. After Canute killed Askeladd, he was so in shock that he almost passed out. Thorkell immediately rushed to Canute and prevented him from passing out. And then he said,
ちゃんと立ってろ。ここが肝心だろうが。お前のための部隊だ。無駄にするなよ。
This dialogue reveals that Thorkell actually understood this very complex situation. Askeladd sacrificed himself so that Canute would become king to prevent the invasion to Wales. If Canute would have passed out or shown weakness, the people probably wouldn't have accepted him as the king. In such a case, Askeladd's sacrifice would have been futile, and Canute wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to become king and thus build his own paradise. In this scenario, Thorkell displays huge amounts of emotional intelligence, awareness of the political landscape and wisdom, something we wouldn't have expected from a bloodthirsty savage. This wiser side of Thorkell always boils beneath the surface of his savage warrior facade and only rarely shines through in serious situations. Thorkell is a chaotic and unpredictable force. He's quick to switch alliances and betray former allies. He doesn't care about the outcome of the battle and more about his desire for a good and exciting fight. He is selfish and arguably the strongest character in the series after Thor's. And all of these facts make him an imposing threat to Askeladd's mercenary band, and the fact that they were being chased by Thorkell added a constant sense of urgency, danger and unpredictability. Without Thorkell's presence, this arc would have been less interesting and exciting because Thorkell actually made us worry about the protagonists. Contrary to common belief, characters don't always have to be complex or complicated to be well written. Many people argue Thorkell is a bad character because on surface level he seems very simple, but that is far from the truth in my opinion. Whether characters were written or not doesn't only depend on how complex and nuanced he is, but also on how his character serves the story. You could have the most nuanced character ever, but if he doesn't fit into the story or doesn't serve the story in any way, it's all futile. Thorkell is a well-written character, not despite his simplicity, but because of it, and in a way he serves the story. He balances out Vinland Sagas' bleak and depressing tone. He provides an enjoyable experience through his straightforward and goofy nature, and he adds elements of unpredictability, chaos, and danger to the story. Thank you for watching the video. Like, subscribe, and comment down below whether you agree with me or not. See you in the next video.